welcome to another episode of Change Starts With You. I'm Kelly Jason, President and CEO, United Way Airmail Coast, and I am joined here today with the one and only Ted from the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce.
Kelly, this is going to be a treat for me for the entire year.
Highlight of the year coming.
Is the microphone covering my face right now?
Not enough.
Okay, not enough. Yes, okay.
Just kidding. That's perfect.
Like
perfect right there.
Okay,
love it.
I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me and maybe not quite see me.
You got it. Awesome. Well, Ted, let's start off. Tell us a little bit about yourself for those that haven't had the pleasure of meeting you just yet, and how you landed at the Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce.
You know, it's really interesting. I've been here in this community since 1990, and I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce when I joined in 1990. And then almost 20 years ago now, I was able to get this cool career job, and I've been there now, as I said, for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So it's doing wonderful things for the community, and I think it's fair to say that you are my favorite chamber member
today,
and my favorite organization.
Of course, y'all heard it here, folks.
Unless there's another show
unless there's somebody else
that they're doing it on, and they'll be the favorite that day too.
Right,
no,
awesome.
You have come into town here 5 years ago, my friend, and are just kicking butt, promoting United Way all throughout our community, and it is absolutely spectacular. I congratulate you immensely.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. And I have a funny story to tell. I'm not sure if you remember this or not. Obviously, it was the highlight of 2019 for you. But my very first day on this job here, November 1st, 2019, I met our board member at First Friday Coffee. And that was my introduction to Okaloosa and Walton counties, the chamber, this United Way. And I'm still here.
Hey, I was going to say, and you stayed. You know, it's great because it's very appropriate for you, Kelly, because you have the approach, as does your staff, which is really cool. They understand the mission of the United Way. They understand who their participants are and what they need to do. But if they can do it in a way, if they can accomplish their mission and do it in a fun-loving way, mm-hmm. then that's a great pulse. And like our guys over here doing the video cameras, I mean, these are fun people. Mm-hmm. They're experts at their field. That is the pulse of Fort Walton.
Absolutely.
Let's have some fun, but let's also do great things to change our community for the better.
That's awesome. That's an incredible mission and vision. Thank you so much for the kind words. So if somebody's not yet familiar with a Chamber of Commerce, how would you describe it? And what do you think some of the greatest benefits are to being a member of a Chamber of Commerce?
You know, I love it. I love working with my hands on this because mm-hmm. it's easier, right? Mm-hmm. So a Chamber of Commerce, they've been around for 500 years, a building of money. That's what it is, a Chamber of Commerce. And the concept being it makes better sense to be collaboratively than individually. So imagine now an organization in your community, which we have here, which is comprised of all aspects of the community. Here we have certainly businesses, mm-hmm. we have nonprofits, we have the military, we have the schools, we have the churches, we have the cross-section of everything. And as a result, when that capacity of people come together in some way, it can create magic. And I'm honored that we have over 2,000 of those different people right now, one of the larger organizations in Okaloosa County, trying to promote their business, as we are here with United Way, but also collaboratively doing great things for the community.
That's incredible. We love being part of the chambers. We're a member of every chamber that serves Okaloosa and Walton counties, you know, our geographic footprint. Because to me, it just makes so much sense that it's a lot of your purpose or your vision or the strategies that you have are the same as United Way. We believe we're stronger together, that when we align, when we work together, that we can accomplish so much more for our community, for our businesses, for our neighbors who need us most.
Yeah, you know, I absolutely agree with you, Kelly. And there is everyone should join a chamber. You got mm-hmm. a great one in Destin with our buddy Shane. You got a great one in Niceville with Tricia. You have a great one up in Crestview with Sandra. You have one in Walton County mm-hmm. with our good friend Megan, and then you have over in Navarre, you have Shanda, and then in Santa Rosa County, you have one too there. So it's everyone should join one.
Right.
Everyone, whether it's a small business or a large business, because they'll get something out of it, guaranteed.
Absolutely.
They'll get something out of it. And that's the part that people don't realize. Once they get that lightning in the bottle, mm-hmm. and for some people it may just be one little nugget, it may be one benefit out of 100,
right.
It certainly will far exceed the inexpensive membership fee that it costs.
Absolutely. We've always found that the ROI is so significant through our chamber membership. And like many things, right, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So, yeah. But I think that there's so many opportunities that you can get involved. You're always hosting events, so you can find what's right for you, or how do you get your teammates involved as well. So speaking of events, what's your favorite event that the chamber does? It could be a one-time or something that, recurs each
year. You know, we have a pulse here in the community, such as our friends over there who are they even paying attention to us?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
This is the usual
I guess
reaction
you're going to wait
I get.
to watch it, so right. It's a surprise for them too. But they're great guys, and they're doing a great job of filming it here. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, the community loves to network. They love to get together. So you have the first Friday, you have a nothing but networking lunch, you have a business after hours, you've got lots of committees, you got lunch and learns. So you have all of those activities where people like that, when they're paying it, now they're paying attention because
Now
they've
they're
been called
laser
out.
focused.
But I think they're going to go right back to the phone in just a second. But they have an opportunity of mixing and mingling and telling people how cool they are and how wonderful they are and that kind of thing. So you have that whole pocket of networking. After 20 years, I find the stuff we do for the community to be the most engaging now. And we'll talk about some of those with One Hopeful Place and the bridge and the Around the Mound and all those kinds of things. But I think the First Friday Coffee is certainly what we're known for.
Right.
300 some odd people having a good time, heckling.
Right.
People come in, they go, we didn't do this in Pensacola.
That's the way
We didn't do this in Chicago. And I go, welcome to Fort Walton.
Right.
So that's certainly one that is always a fun time.
Yeah. We're on a 4-day work week, which we brag about all the time, but that is something that I still try to go to on Fridays. So stretch myself out of that additional day each week, because I do think you make it fun, you make it lively, you make it engaging. You have the right people in the room, the right people being people that care about our community, genuinely, authentically want to make it a better place. And that's who I want to try to align myself with. So
yeah, I mean, it's 300 people is a lot of folks. Right, and they come in, they'll hear from a sponsor, which is cool. United Way always sponsors and does a great presentation. Then you have some community supporters who are sharing different things happening. We'll see some of our elected officials. So it's kind of a cross section, and people love winning door prizes.
Right.
Have you won one?
I very rarely have I ever. I think I won one 2 years ago. It was from Okaloosa Gas. But it surprises me each time that I'm never drawn. It's not just at the Fort Walton Beach Chamber. It's at the other ones that we go to as well. I'm like, what's wrong with our business cards? I need to make it thicker. I've tried the folding trick. I've tried a lot of different things, and I'm just missing out for some reason.
We'll have to work on that. But what's really good, though, is you won a door prize from Okaloosa Gas.
Absolutely.
And you remember that Okaloosa Gas, like Gordon and Eddie and all the gang up there, Cindy, and all them elected to promote Okaloosa Gas with a door prize. And here, 2 years later, you
Still
remember
remembering
it. It is something. People love winning stuff.
Absolutely.
It's really fun.
You briefly mentioned One Hopeful Place, and would love to talk about that for just a moment, because what other chamber is doing this? So how would you explain One Hopeful Place? Why are you guys leading it? And just a little bit about it.
Yeah, so again, let's look back at the mission of the chamber, right? We're a community development organization. So you have all these businesses, you have 2,000 people, and they'll sit around just like you and I are with our friends over here, and we said, hey, who's doing something about that? And in this case, it was 15 years ago, and Fort Walton Beach started getting more of the big city issues with the folks panhandling.
Right.
And the issue would be, what are we going to do? So you fast forward from 2007, when it really started, to 2017, 10 years later, when we opened a homeless shelter called One Hopeful Place. And it's interesting, Kelly, because at that time, and this is a credit to you and your current staff, at that time in 2007, 2008, 2009, I went to the United Way and the others. I said, hey, you have helping the homeless in your mission statement. We have having parties and doing bowlegs festivals in ours. And it was just really hard to get the bandwidth for a nonprofit with just a small staff to run it. And here we are now with the grace of Bridgeway taking over a couple of years ago, running a homeless shelter, the only chamber, I think, in the world running a homeless shelter, 50 men, 17 women, and on the cold night, upwards of almost 50 people who are just having a streak of bad luck.
Right. So we say, like, how many of us are one paycheck away from being that person that would need One Hopeful Place, right? And we call those individuals Alice, asset limited, income constrained, employed, that we know that 42% of our community is in poverty or really one paycheck away from it. So.
Yeah, and the 60% at Eglin, I mean, on Eglin Air Force Base, the Alice program that you have done here in our community, the ones that are kind of open to the public and other ones you've done, is probably the best way of educating our community.
Absolutely.
So it's so great that you filled that niche in the educational capacity, which is United Way's mission, to teach them about it. And people go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And it does make it a little easier for folks to be able to relate to the difference between the homeless person who's down on their luck and the handful or more of panhandlers who are perhaps the face of homelessness in our community and not the best face we want to put forward.
Absolutely. So if somebody out there was like, well, that's really cool, a chamber operating a homeless shelter, I would love to help them. What would be maybe one thing that one of our viewers could do to support One Hopeful Place?
Yeah, I mean, financially is it costs $25,000 a month to run that, right? And so therefore, we don't really need a lot of donations. Some people say, do I need clothes, et cetera? There are other entities in our community that would do that. So I suppose if there was anything, it would be you could volunteer your time. We have a cold night shelter. We may be opening soon on a more regular basis on an emergency shelter capacity. So people who are just needing to stay for a couple nights could get help. And then we could have, if anyone has a fundraiser, we have folks out there, churches and golf tournaments, et cetera, and said, hey, who could be the recipient to this? And I don't want to take away from United Way, of course, and the funds that you folks are generating. But those would be two ways, volunteering and money. It makes it easier that way because you don't really have to get down and get your hands dirty so much, but you can certainly help us. And right now, Kelly, and the thing I'm probably proudest about, almost 70% of the people that go there that stay for 3 months to 4 months or so find housing.
That's amazing.
So it's absolutely amazing. And we're so grateful, again, to Bridgeway Center, who's running it on a day-to-day basis, and our chamber, with your guidance on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, is able to run this facility and help over 400 people since it first opened now.
That's awesome. Excited to see, what the future becomes as you all start to clear that land. Big thanks to Representative Pat Maney, a good friend to both of us, for helping with that.
It's really something. If we had a chance, we could drop in the photos.
Right.
But, so this location is a former waste treatment plant. So you have these turrets that I call them, these old turrets. They look like Chernobyl. Right. A 3 Mile Island, these big concrete things. And because of Representative Maney's pride in the program, he was able to get us an appropriation, and we're knocking those down. So now not only do you have a good view, but now the people who are staying there, who are turning their lives around and kind of feel bad about themselves, are not saying, hey, I'm in a former waste treatment plant. Right. Now they're in an area, it's a little village. Right,
because they deserve to live with that same dignity, right?
It's really, amazing. Really exciting, and it opens up a lot more land for us to do some more things. So arguably probably the biggest, longest success that I've had at the Chamber is the involvement in that capacity of our community.
Awesome. Well, let's get back to maybe a little more of what people know the Chamber for and really supporting the business community. What is maybe one success story that you can think of a Chamber member who was able to strengthen their business or strengthen themselves as a leader really because of that Chamber membership? Yeah,
I mean, there's so many, quite frankly. I mean, an entrepreneur, there are some entrepreneurs who 90% of their business comes from the Chamber. Wow. I've seen people open up their business and go, how do I do this?
Right, what's next?
Like these guys over here. If they come to an event, they go, what do you do? I'm a videographer. I'm a social media. Oh, I didn't know that. And they're chatting with someone such as this. So there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of stories where someone comes into the Chamber, introduces themselves at our first Friday coffee. They're scared to death because there's 300 people. And someone comes up and asks them right then and there for business. And that happens on a regular basis. And on the other side of that, it's really cool because folks like Lockheed Martin and Boeing, who were more than likely not going to have anyone buy a plane, although with their success back there, they might. They could have a plane each, which would be really cool. But in that case, their role is to invest in the community, and their employees can be very prideful of being in a parade or being involved with some type of fundraiser. So there's both sides, but it is. We have a thing, Kelly, it's a guarantee. We guarantee that if someone joins the Chamber of Commerce and gives it a year, that they'll be successful. Absolutely. And if not, we'll refund their money.
I love it. That's amazing. Is that a real true guarantee?
That's true.
It is now, at least.
No. We've done that for about 10 years now.
Wow, that's incredible. As again, a smaller organization, I just think that investment is so important to us, and we definitely do get more out of it. We've recruited volunteers, we've recruited donors. Yeah. I think just also being visible in the community was really important to us as a nonprofit that helps us build trust and credibility. Just being out and being seen instead of being locked into our office and sticking to heads down and keeping focus on the work itself.
Well, United Way has been in Okaloosa County how long? Is it over 50 years already?
Oh, yeah, about 67 years.
67 years. So what happens there over time is I would imagine it kind of goes through ebbs and tides of relevance, right? And it was relevant in the early 90s, as a matter of fact, and early 2000s. They were the ones who started some of the homeless initiatives. But then they kind of lost their zeal. Yeah. And then 5 years ago, riding in on a white stallion is Kelly Jason, and she brings in all the Aubreys and Marley and all your people who are out there who, for the most part, are new to the team. And it has totally rejuvenated things. As I mentioned earlier, I think it's fair to say you are probably the leading nonprofit organization in our community with all aspects of awareness and the Alice and all of the people you're helping. So a lot of that goes to your success on rejuvenating the importance of helping out our community.
Awesome. Definitely like you, love what I do. I'm passionate about it. Think it's the best way to make a difference, in our community and for our community. So just getting to have this platform to share that with others is really great. So speaking about things that we've done together, you were at our Project Lead graduation. You supported that new program that we launched this year to train individuals to be board members. You've been on the selection committee for our 40 Under 40 awards.
Yes.
We've sponsored things alongside you, like the First Friday coffees. I'm a member of your board. But all these things that you can think about, all the touch points that we've had, things we've had done together. Is there something in particular that stands out to you as kind of the favorite thing that you've done alongside us?
Well, I want to share that my daughter was 40 Under 40. Now, I was not on that selection committee, so I was on that a year before, and she was so prideful of that. That event, spectacular. The Alice, I can't emphasize enough, the way that is helping educate the community on that component is mind-boggling. The Project Lead, where you have people who are 40, 50, 60 years old, some of them, who haven't had that opportunity to, I want to get involved, but I don't know how to, for you to, to take that process. You get to use the Place on Beale, another chamber benefit,
oh my goodness, we love
such as that. Sponsoring the First Friday coffee. Are you the ones that sell the Girl Scout cookies? Oh, no, that's the Girl Scouts.
That's the Girl Scouts.
Oh, I see. I didn't know. Okay. We'll delete that from
we
the
support that one.
So there's so many. I mean, but again, it's interesting because the way I describe, the United Way is the organization for nonprofits in our community. And to some degree, if people understand the United Way and they don't understand the chamber, I say we're kind of the United Way of everything in our community, right?
I do that too. I'm like, we're kind of the chamber of the nonprofit community.
Right. It's just so they understand that. And it's been so great to have you on the board and sharing your youthful zeal on the various things that we do. Thanks. So it's really wonderful.
Thank you. What's next on your radar? Anything upcoming, either event-wise or strategy-wise? Anything you're really excited about?
Well, I think, the key thing in Fort Walton now, everyone knows the bridge is happening. I mean, these are big generational things. So the bridge is happening, right? So get ready for it. 4 years, you and I will drive over the bridge together and we'll have these guys videotape us because they'll be so busy. They'll bring in their people from Hollywood.
They'll do some drone shots.
Some drone shots, yeah. So that's cool. This whole concept of the Around the Mound. Right now, you go over the bridge, you just kind of bear to the left and go straight through. The possibility of that traffic diverting itself slightly in kind of an edge towards Publix in that direction and going around the mound and turning downtown into a strolling marketplace. It's still 8 years away, but it'll be in our tenure.
Sure.
So that'll be a spectacular for our community. And the most recent one is this concept of the orphan land for Eglin.
Absolutely.
We all know that affordable housing and workforce housing is key. We've always thought, wow, wouldn't it be really cool if we just find land?
Right.
Much has been built out. And Eglin Air Force Base for many, many years has what they call non-mission land, and they're not going to land a plane on it. 30 acres here, 100 acres here, so on and so forth. And the fact that they are now potentially opening that up to not only people to develop on their own, but also to Okaloosa County to see about developing that for housing and things along those lines, that is beyond generational.
Absolutely.
That is the number one capacity here in Okaloosa County and something everyone watching this should be extremely excited about. And again, down the road.
Right.
But we have to start somewhere.
Right. It's all those little laying the breadcrumbs to get us there. And kudos to you and your team for taking the initiative and really leading and championing a lot of those efforts, awareness of them, half-cent sales tax as well. You guys just are really making sure that the business community is aware of these changes here in our community and how they can advocate for the best way to accomplish those for tomorrow, not just for today, but for the future of our community. I think that's really exciting.
It really is. And I'll just share, everyone should know that, the government people, they need our help. We know them all. We know these are nice people. The mayors and the Board of County Commissioners, they are looking for the help from our community because everyone goes in there complaining.
Right.
But they love it when the business, and I say the business community, of which nonprofits and all the capacities they are looking for nice people like Kelly, Jason, and Aubrey and Marley and the others and people from our chamber to say, hey, we're in support of that. How can we help you? And that makes it a little easier for our elected officials to say, yeah, they're in support of this. Let's make that hard choice. And that's why a lot of the changes have occurred in the last 10 years because they've had the support of the community and they've made some tough choices.
Right.
And they're going to benefit Okaloosa County for years to come.
Love it. As we wrap up here, Ted, what is one thing, if somebody isn't yet sold on why they should join the chamber, or maybe they have a chamber membership, but they haven't been very active, why should they come to one of the next events or get involved?
Oh, actually come. Yeah, so if I could, I'll go to both sides. Come to a networking event. There's no doubt in my mind you'll meet someone that you can do business with. Guaranteed. Right? In this day and age, how is a person going to get together? Social media?
Right.
Or meeting people. All of the surveys indicate that by meeting people is much more important than the social media. So you have a chance of meeting cool people like those two guys over there.
Right.
You have a chance of meeting them, learning what they do, and perhaps doing business with them. And on the other side, for those who cannot come, we have lots of marketing opportunities. Imagine if you said, my wish list would be, I wish I could send an email out to all of the nonprofits.
Absolutely.
Or I wish I could get in touch with the school director or something along those lines. And that's where the staff comes in to help them in that search.
Love it. We used that benefit just recently in preparing for Volunteer Week, kind of getting that list of businesses that are chamber members, and we were able to have the largest group of volunteers for Day of Caring that we've had in several years.
It's a great benefit. I'm glad you took advantage of it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ted. Really appreciate you. Looking forward to continuing to do great things alongside you, or maybe trailing behind you, trying to keep up the very best that I can. But it was a very warm welcome on day one, and that continues, and I'm really excited.
And I'm honored for you wearing the green. Kelly Jason wearing the green.
For you.
In honor of the Women's Chamber of Commerce. So it's a great community. Thanks for what you're doing. It's a good thing.
Heard you have your fancy socks on too.
I do. I have my United Way socks on, everyone. I'll show them. We'll zoom in on it in a little bit when they get done and come over here.
Awesome. Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it.